Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome all to Dominant Mets Nation. And you know what, folks? Our New York Mets are dominant. We are completely dominant. Our latest victory or our latest pummeling, we beat the Nationals 10-0. No competition. We had a 9-run fourth inning, scored the most runs in that inning as we had all of the year. In fact, we have to go back all the way to 2021 to duplicate that inning, that magical inning that happened tonight. Well, folks, it is 1:03 in the morning right now, and it is all good feelings in New York, in Queens. We have the hottest team in all of baseball in the last 4 months. We are taking care of business. In the beginning of this national series, we got bad news with Francisco Lindor. Didn't matter. Did not matter. We outscored the Nationals 22-2. 22-2. This was an absolute drubbing. In fact, the only negative that I can take is that the competition was so bad, so putrid, that now our level of competition is going to be risen, which that's fine. We're going to Philadelphia next with good feelings. We got the lineup going. We have a young phenom in Luis Angel Acuna that looks, oh my God, I can't say enough good things about this guy. His OPS is 1,400 right now, which is freaking insane. Hit another big home run to cap off a 10-run game. I mean, it is just, it is just amazing. His defense, his awareness on the field, his instincts, his confidence, his mental makeup. I cannot say enough about Luis Angel Acuna. And I think this guy has really inspired this team. Really, from Marte on down the lineup. Nimmo finally stepped up today with a 3-run bomb. I mean, up and down the lineup. I complained the other day, even though we won the first game, we won. We squeaked it out. The bats weren't there. I said we got to, against Jake Irvin, that pitcher on Monday, we have to take better at bats. We have to work the count. We have to execute a lot better. And as you've seen, our last 2 days, we scored 20 runs. 20 runs in the last 2 days, and we have done a whole lot better. A whole lot better. Okay. In fact, in the last 15 games, our record is 11-4. We're 11-4 in the last 15 games. We have outscored our opponents 79-36 in the last 15 games. Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. So we're going to get into the key moments in today's game, but we're also going to get into more details about our season going forward. And we only have 10 games left. 10 games left. In fact, you know what? Let me fix this screen so we have a little more detail. All right. There we go. All right. So now we have today's show. We have the topics. Anyone. I appreciate anyone. I know it is 1:00 in the morning. Whoever is up, you're just like me. Awesome. We got our New York Mets to think about, to be excited about. But you know what? If you're watching, please like. If you're not subscribed yet, it's your chance. Subscribe. We got the Mets content. It's going to be rolling the next couple months. We're going to go right into the World Series run, and then we got free agency. So it is going to be a fun next couple months if you're a Mets fan. And the way this team is being built, the way it is being constructed right now, it's very exciting. Infield, for instance, you got a homegrown infield of Acuna, Alvarez, Alonso's there for the time being, and Vientos. That is some nice stuff. Really good stuff. To get back to the game, Quintana. Oh my God! In the last 5 starts, this guy, it's probably hard to say, but he's been our hottest pitcher. I think he's allowed no runs in the last 23 innings, and he's been lights out. I mean, I am just I'm just blown away by how good he's been. And I wrote this down when I watch Quintana pitch. Basically, the guy is number one. He's locating. He's hitting corners. He's not an overpowering guy. And number two, he's generating a lot of weak contact. That's number two. And number three, he's generating a lot of balls. You see Iglesias, you see Acuna. They are getting a lot of opportunities to turn double plays, to make some nice plays. And both of them, they look so good up the middle. Iglesias, Acuna, that double play combo looks electric, an electric combo there. So, I mean, folks, you can't be happier. We're still 2 games up. The Braves, they won today. Finally, they beat the Reds 7-1. Good for them. But the clock is ticking. We have 10 games left. 10 games left. We control our own destiny. That's what I love. We're going to be heading into the Phillies series. That's at home. So we have a decent advantage there. I'm looking for revenge for last week. Last week against the Phillies, despite losing, we still outscored the Phillies 16-11. We outscored them 16-11. Only 2 games we lost. We barely lost 6-4, and we lost the second game or the third game by 1 run. So those were both winnable games. I expect we're going to be covering the matchups later on in tonight's video, but I expect us to have a little payback. But today, I mean, like, how about that 4th inning? That 4th inning was freaking insane tonight. It was insane. 9 runs. I mean, you can't really have enough adjectives to really describe it. And, everybody that I was concerned about, Pete Alonso, now it looks like he's not trying to do too much. He's just putting the bat on the ball, and you see he's hitting line drives all over the place. The first inning, his first at bat, hits a line drive to left field. What's his name? Woods made a nice play. It almost was a hit, but he made almost a shoestring catch. But in the 4th inning, Alonso, another line drive, gets on base. Tyrone Taylor, our 4th, 5th outfielder gets a double. That led off the scoring in the 4th inning, and now it's really all she wrote. Mark Vientos would get in on the action. He hit a rope. And I've been saying it about Mark Vientos. Despite him being in a slump, in the last, I would say, 6 at-bats, the last 2 games specifically, Mark has been having very nice swings. He's been making good contact. He's had a couple warning track balls. I think he's hit about 3 or 4 balls to the warning track. So mark my word. No pun intended. Mark my word. Vientos is getting hot. Today, 2 hits, 2 RBIs, but it's so important to get these guys going. And tonight, we got Alonso, another hit. Nimmo, big night, 1 home run, 3 RBIs. Marte, and that's a guy that I wasn't really even counting on. Marte has a hit, 2 RBIs, but the way he's taking pitches and working in the account, he's a seasoned veteran. That's almost like that Curtis Granderson veteran-like presence. I love having, the mix that we have of young guys and veterans. Marte's a veteran. Iglesias is a veteran. Nimmo's, kind of like a veteran. Alonso, you got those 2 guys in between a veteran and a rookie. And then you got the young guys. You got Alvarez. You got Acuna. You got Vientos. This team has a very well-balanced mix between young guys, veterans. So I really like the way we have gelled. I like the way this team has been constructed. Going forward, obviously we need the starting pitching to hold up. But if you got guys from Tyler McGill to Jose Quintana to Minaya, all throughout your rotation, everybody is clicking right now. It's actually an amazing thing to see. I'm like, how can this really hold up? But the thing is, we have been doing this already for the last 4 freaking months. Hey, Chris. Hey, what's going on, man? Good stuff tonight. Richard, yeah, Richard, I was here last night. I was here last night. Um, Bring this comment up. Chris, what's up, bro? How's it that we seem to win 92% of our games and we are still hanging on by the skin of our teeth? The Mets are damn near 30 games over 500 since the middle of May. I mean, the simple answer to that is we just had such a bad April and May, starting 22 and 33. I mean, if we were on this pace on April and May, if we started off the season, like we've been playing the last 4 months, it would be no competition. We would have a playoff spot locked up. But we just started off so crappy, 11 games under 500. Unfortunately, we have so much ground to make up. And that's why, like, a lot of, people counted us out. Look how much we had to do. Look how much ground and how many winning streaks we had to put together just to get where we are, 2 games up. We're not 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 games up. We don't have anything locked up. But just because of the bad start, we had to do basically have a phenomenal, dynamic second half of the season to still maybe make the playoffs. But I like the way we're playing. We're playing with a lot of confidence, a lot of composure. Now we have the whole team clicking. You can look at this. You got the whole starting rotation really pitching well. You have most of the guys in the lineup, excluding maybe guys like Martinez. He's still slumping, but everybody else, is doing really well. And, you didn't have Lindor. Everybody was worried about this series and throwing in the towel 3 days ago, even a couple days ago when we lost 2 games in Philadelphia. In the last week, there were 2 instances in which Mets fans and people were saying, all right, now you're done. Now you're done. But again, no matter what the situation is, no matter what the challenge is, the Mets find a way. They find a way to overcome. In fact, Chris, I didn't get a chance to see this because I had to watch the condensed version of the game. I got home I had work. I got home like 11:30. So did I hear Nimmo following the game what he told Gelb? He was urging the fans to show up and support group. I hope the stadium is packed the rest of the way. You know what? I wholeheartedly believe that. We have to utilize our advantage. I mean, we're in New York City right now. I love that. I love that. I love when I see the 7-line travel all over the country to support our team, our players. So you know what? We have to use our advantage. Our New York fans are loud. We can put pressure on the opposing team. Let's do something special. Let's make this a movement. Remember, believe 2024. This is a special year. We've made a special run these last 4 months. This is a special group of guys. I said when Lindor got injured, we are not going to miss a beat. Number one reason, culture. This team is a whole different team in the past. So I'm so super, super excited. Richard, where are you? 3,000 miles away. Yeah, the Orioles, despite us having the same record. Oh, Southern California. Oh, very nice. Very nice. Very nice. All right, I like having Mets fans all across the country, all across the world. So, represent us in Southern California. That's awesome. I'm in Florida right now. So, I'm trying to do my best with the Mets fans down here. Same here. I literally just moved to Florida a couple months ago, but my whole life I was born in Queens. Now I'm in Florida, so I'm same as you, born and raised in New York. Okay, so yeah, Orioles, they had a great first half, but you know what? They've been fading fast. In fact, the thing is that I don't like. Actually, I do like this, and I don't like this. No, number one, the Mets right now, despite having the best record in the last 4 months, we are still very underrated. MLB.com, their latest ranking, I made a video last week, but still, despite us having a good week, MLB.com still ranks us as the 11th best team in all of baseball. I don't see it. The 10 teams in front of us are as follows: number 10 Royals, number 9 Diamondbacks, number 8 Astros, number 7 Orioles, number 6 Padres, number 5 Guardians, number 4 Brewers, number 3 Yankees, number 2 Dodgers, and number 1 Phillies, the team we are going to beat in our next series. But I don't see it. I don't see us as the 11th best team. But that's fine. Let us be underrated. Let us be underdogs. That is okay with me. The number 12 team is the Braves. Number 13 is Twins, and 14 is Mariners. So we are not in that category. More correctly and more fairly, we're about in the 5th, 6th position. 4, 5, 6. That's where we should be ranked. There's so many teams that are ranked higher than us that I feel we are so much better than. Wow, did he really say? I got to watch that clip. Nimmo yelled to the fans, "This is what you all wanted, and we are giving it to you. We need all of you this weekend to fit." Oh, you know what? I love that. I love that. I didn't see that, Chris, but if he said that, honestly, that's freaking phenomenal. I love when athletes are actually real human beings and say, stuff like that. I got to watch that clip. That's amazing if he said that. But you know what? Okay, back to it. The lineup tonight was so damn explosive. The lineup in the last 2 games was explosive. 20 runs in our last 2 games. 20 runs in our last 15 games. I will repeat. We scored 79 runs in the last 15 games and have outscored our opponent 79-36. So we are doing something really right. We are pitching. We are clicking. We are pitching and we are clicking. That's a big plus minus differential. That's a plus minus differential of 43 runs. 43 runs. We are positive in the last 15 games. We beat the Nationals. We beat the Phillies. No, we didn't beat the Phillies. Scratch that. We outscored the Phillies, but we beat the Blue Jays, Reds, and the Red Sox. And tonight, tonight we had 11 hits. Yesterday we had 14 hits. So we are doing what we really need to do. And like I said, our approach at the plate is freaking phenomenal. Iglesias at the top of the lineup, since Lindor is not here, doing an admirable job getting us going. Acuna at the bottom of the lineup. And, Acuna at the bottom of the lineup, I've seen in the last couple of days, people are saying, why is Acuna at the bottom of the lineup? The guy is hitting phenomenal. And obviously today, hit phenomenal again. And I'm so damn excited about Acuna because I think he's a guy that has been underrated. And I think he has been underrated mostly because of his size. Mostly because of his size. But he's, as scouts would say, he's got these fast twitch, or his muscle structure is that of, he's got power, way more of a guy than a 5'8" build, a 5'8" frame. He's got a very quick, level, dynamic, explosive swing. The scouts have evaluated him, and he's got a very good raw power for his size. We know he's a fast guy. He looks very smooth in the field, but I will keep saying this. The thing I like best about Acuna is his mental makeup. This whole situation at the moment is not too big for him. And we have him in the middle of a pennant race, batting, and it's not phasing him. It is not phasing him. Home run tonight, home run yesterday, multiple hits. He's making plays with ease in the field. You got to love it. You really got to love it. And I'm so excited about next year. I know I want, let's seal the deal. Let's make a run. I love to win a World Series. And then next year, we start building a dynasty. Daniel, what's up? How's everything going tonight? Hopefully you're doing well. Hopefully you enjoyed the Mets win. I mean, really, we are playing on a whole different level. And even though the Mets have been winning in the last 4 months, in the last 15 days, in the last couple weeks, we are pitching well. Starting pitching is pitching well. The bats have picked it up in the last couple of days. And I just like the fact that Lindor got injured. And that could have been a really big blow to this team. But instead of folding, this team has essentially come together and gotten better. Gotten better. Would you have guessed that our offense would be more dynamic losing a guy like Francisco Lindor? I mean, like losing Jeff McNeil. I mean, we've lost a lot of people, and the injury report goes on and on. Paul Blackburn, the pitcher that we acquired at the deadline, unfortunately, he's done for the season. And the saddest news of all, and this is why I was trying to see how the team would really respond, the saddest news by far, and you probably all know what I'm about to say, is the Christian Scott injury. And honestly, I was reading that news at work, and I really kind of like felt for the guy because, he's a 25-year-old, rookie pitcher this year, and it doesn't look like he's going to be able to pitch until sometime in 2026. So obviously not going to pitch this year, not going to pitch next year, and then who knows when in 2026. And that's very disappointing. He's 25 now. The next time he's going to be able to seriously compete, he's going to be 27. So, us Mets fans support the guy. And I knew, like, you saw the torque that he was. I remember that he stood out in preseason. You saw his slider or slurve or whatever you call it. I made a video. It was literally dancing. The pitch was dancing across the TV screen. I saw it's a violent movement, and I'm like, Christian Scott, oh my God, this is the guy who dominated last year in the minors. He's got to be on our opening day roster. He's just that electric, that good. But that type of torque that he put on his arm, it just really seemed like a matter of time before he would sustain an injury like this. Unfortunately, he has a grade 2 strain of the UCL. He's going to do some type of special procedure, but it's very sad. I had him penciled in next year in our starting rotation. So, that's the bad news. The good news is the Mets, despite losing Scott, and even though he wasn't the biggest part of this year's team, were able to respond in a big way. So, you know what? At the end of the day, let's win it for guys like Christian Scott. Let's win it for guys that we lost this year. If McNeil doesn't come back, let's win it for McNeil. Let's win it for everybody. So, I'm feeling good. So Chris, you're right. I was at the 10-1 game that McGill pitched, and the ball absolutely jumps off Acuna's bat. I can't believe we now have an Acuna, and he reminds me of Ronald, which is incredible. And that's really the amazing thing. And like I said, he's being underrated because of his height, right? His height, not his size. He's got a decent frame. He's over 180 pounds. When he initially came to the Texas Rangers organization, he was only 155 pounds. So in the last 2 to 3 years, he's put on a lot of bulk, and he's got that fast twitch muscle. So, he's a guy that, scouts project him to hit 20 to 25 home runs on average. And if he's a 270, 280 hitter, and look, you see his bat to ball skills. He's got very good bat to ball skills. Despite having pressure on him right now, the only thing that is being on I would say questioned with Acuna is in certain situations he's not as disciplined. Certain situations he tries to elevate the ball, he gets on top of the ball, he ends up rolling the ball over, but we have not really seen that. I don't know if that was a correction or an old scouting report, but his swing looks really, really level right now. He looks to have an extremely level swing. Even Keith was saying how, he was impressed on how level the kid's swing is. No, no, I don't think so. I don't think so. Although, while I'm watching Acuna, there is one weakness I'm seeing. It looks like Acuna is good on low pitches. It looks like that is his sweet spot. You know, the home run that he hit yesterday was like a low pitch, lower in the zone. He hit it to left center field. The pitch today was a pitch that was low and inside. So it looks like if you throw him a fastball, an off-speed pitch lower in the zone, he can get to it. The pitch that looks like he may have a little trouble with his swing is a high and tight fastball. You know, I see him with his swing. It looks like he's having a little trouble with that. Hopefully he will adjust. But you know, anything low in the zone, the kid looks like he'll crush it. All right, so let's look at the Phillies. Let's look on forward, and I want to look at some of the odds. I want to look at some of the matchups. All right, so the opening starters are going to be Taiwan Walker versus Luis Severino. So I mean, honestly, the way our lineup is really clicking right now, we should tattoo Taiwan Walker. This year, Walker's 3-6 with a 6.29 ERA. There is no way this is the game we need. We absolutely need this game. Need this game. In his last start, Taiwan Walker pitched 6 innings, 6 earned runs, 13 hits, 1 base on ball. He absolutely got crushed. Okay, so what I was just doing is I was looking at how many times Severino has faced the Phillies. Hasn't faced the Phillies too many times. He's had 2 starts against the Phillies, once this year and once in 2018. In his last outing against the Phillies, he pitched 6 innings, 3 hits, 3 earned runs. So you know that's a quality start. That's a quality start. The one guy that you have to really kind of watch out is Bryce Harper. Bryce Harper has 2 home runs against Severino. I believe he had 2 home runs in the last matchup. But you know, like I said, you know, the other day he hit which well, I was last game. That was last week. That was last week. So he had 2 home runs last time. You don't let Bryce Harper beat you. You learned from last week. Bryce Harper, the one guy in that lineup. Walk him. That's the one guy you can't let beat you. You know, everybody else, Severino seems to do well against. Only guy, Bryce Harper. I don't want that guy to beat us. If you know you walk him and you pitch to another batter in the lineup, that's fine. That's fine. You pick out that's you have to have a game plan. Lately, the Mets have been executing their game plan and they have been doing very, very well. Richard, it's 1:32 in the morning. You could do whatever you want. Don't worry about it. But like we're not kind of, but what impresses the hell out of me is really how many times this team, how many reiterations of this team. I mean, you see the season, like, when we started, we had guys like Zach Short on our bench, like a whole different bench, a whole different bullpen, Jorge Lopez. And, like now, like our bench is completely different. So you really got to give Stearns credit for making this team deep. But, we're talented. Tyrone Taylor off the bench this year, his numbers, this year, excluding tonight's stats, 7 home runs, 33 RBIs, batted 244 with a 702 OPS. I mean, that doesn't even tell you how good and how clutch the guy's been. 20 doubles, three triples, scoring 44 runs. I mean, the guy has been such a great fourth outfielder. That was a nice move. That was a nice move getting him, acquiring him, Adrian Hauser, the second half of that trade package. Okay, that didn't work out. And that's another thing that I like about David Stearns. Any player that has not worked out for any reason, we have not dragged these guys. Like Cano a couple years ago, it wasn't working out. It took us so long to shed that guy. Every single guy on this team is productive in some way or another. Some way or another. I mean, you look up and down our team, and everybody presents great value. From Alvarez to Alonso, Lindor, Vientos, Nimmo, Bader, Marte. JD Martinez is the only guy really struggling. But even if you go to the bench, Taylor's a godsend. Iglesias, Torrens, great backup catcher. Jesse Winker. We got to get this guy going. Acuna, Eddie Alvarez, even him. I like Eddie Alvarez as a defensive replacement. You could see how sweet of a glove he has. And then our pitching staff, I'm just so excited that everybody is rolling. Like, I never thought I'd be looking at a box score. In the last couple of games, Tyler McGill, last outing, 6 innings, 2 hits, 1 run. 2 hits, 1 run. That's more than a quality start. Outing before that, 6 innings, 0 runs. And that was the game where he had 9 strikeouts. 9 strikeouts. So, I mean, I remember on the broadcast, they were saying that he's utilizing his sinker more. So that just goes to show you how, again, this team is developing their players. Tyler McGill has been developed. Peterson has been developed. Vientos obviously has been developed. Acuna, it looks like Acuna has made strides from last year. Obviously, we didn't see him in the majors, but you see how dynamic of a player. I was not expecting this. I really was not expecting this. I was expecting a nice contact hitter, but this guy is clearly explosive, and he can be a dynamic player. I said early on, can he be a top 10 player? Can he be? And I actually compared him to Jose Altuve. And I know that's like a pie in the sky comparison. Yeah, they're both shorter guys. But I wholeheartedly believe they have similar tool sets, very similar tool sets. They're both fast twitch, smaller guys. They got bigger frames, despite their height. They both can probably hit, I think Acuna can hit easily 25 home runs. Obviously, we know he's got the speed, but I do really think that there's a high ceiling on this kid Acuna. And I'm actually surprised that we didn't bring him up earlier. I'm actually a little surprised about that. And Chris, good point. We got some Mets to handle this weekend. Wheels and Walker. I don't think Walker, again, no pun intended, but I think it's going to be a walk in the park. Walker has not been pitching well this year. Has not been pitching well. He's got an over 6 ERA. We have to continue to tattoo the ball, continue to work the count. He's a guy that you can easily get to, easily knock out. And here's the thing about this. It's a 4-game series, right? So everything is a strategy. If you can get to the bullpen in game 1 and knock out or get through some of their good arms and you knock them out for later in the series, that's all part of the strategy. All part of the strategy. It's a 4-game series. Let's take advantage of the fact that they don't have a good pitcher going on Friday. If you juxtapose and you look at our situation, the good thing about our New York Mets is we have a quality starter every single rotation spot. We don't have a Taijuan Walker that we're worried about, who has a 6 ERA. Everybody, I have confidence, can make a quality start. Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm impressed by his last 2 starts, but I think most of us are skeptical. He's got to do way more than the last 2 starts. This has to be a trend. I believe in the last 13, he's had 13 outings, and he only has 2 or 3 quality starts. Hasn't pitched well for the duration of the year, but the last 2 starts, as of late, recently, and that's what I'm going off, he has looked pretty good. But on a whole, oh yeah, he's got a lot to prove, a lot. Let me see how we do against. Right now, what I'm looking at, and I know it's not going to be good, but I'm looking at our batter's career record against Zach Wheeler. How do we hit Zach Wheeler? Okay, against Taijuan Walker, I think we'll be fine. So regular season, Zach Wheeler, career record against the New York Mets. Our Zach Wheeler has pitched 14 games, 89 innings, and has gone 5-4 against the Mets with a 3.64 ERA. He has 85 strikeouts in 89 innings total pitched. Now, if I look at who has hit Mr. Wheeler the best, so we have a few guys. We actually have a few guys that have a decent track record against Wheeler. So the guy who has the most at bats is Brandon Nimmo. Brandon Nimmo has 42 at bats against Wheeler. He has 12 hits, 3 doubles, a triple, a home run, 4 RBIs, 1 walk, and he's batting .293. He's OPS 800. So he's got almost a 300 batting average against Wheeler. Pete Alonso has 31 at bats against Wheeler. He has 10 hits, 2 doubles, 3 RBIs, and he has a 323 batting average, a 417 on base, and an 804 OPS. So Pete Alonso hasn't shown much power against Zach Wheeler, but he has gotten on base. He's walked a bit, and he's got 10 hits and 31 at-bats as a 323 batting average. Not bad. Lindor, if Lindor is back, Lindor in 29 at-bats has 8 hits, 1 double, 1 triple, 1 home run, 5 RBIs, and he's batting 276. 276, and he has a 483 slug. So, that top 3 of the lineup, 293, 323 batting average, 276. The next guy, and this guy actually probably has the most impressive numbers, Starling Marte. Marte is getting hot against Zach Wheeler. He has 20 at-bats, 7 hits, 1 double, 1 triple, 1 RBI, and he's batting 350 against Zach Wheeler. He has a 435 on base, 500 slug, and 935 OPS. Those 4 guys, decent track records against Zach Wheeler. Next guy, Jose Iglesias. He has 8 at-bats, 3 hits, 1 double, 2 RBIs, and is batting 375, smaller sample size, only 8 at-bats. But, he's shown he's got a couple hits and only 8 at-bats. Then the other guy, which is a very small sample size, Mark Vientos, is 1 for 3 he's 1 for 3. And, yep, that is about it. Okay, so here's more of good news. Wow, I'm looking at. Well, actually, I made a mistake. We haven't seen Zach Wheeler since last year. But last year, when we saw Zach Wheeler, it was in September 23rd, 2023. We scored 5 runs, 8 hits. 5 runs, 8 hits. Only 3 of them were earned. We ended up losing, but we had 8 hits against the guy. 8 hits. The outing before that, in 2023, he went 5 innings, surrendered 9 hits, 5 runs, and those were all earned. So in the last 2 outings, we scored 5 runs and 5 runs. The outing before that, again, we scored 4 runs, 5 hits, went 5 innings. The outing before that, actually, we tattooed him. We scored 6 runs, 9 hits, and 6 innings. So in the last 4 outings against us, Zach Wheeler has been very ordinary. He has been an ordinary pitcher. So, that's just, the matchup against Zach Wheeler, whether we play him now or in the playoffs. The Mets, bottom line, Zach Wheeler has been hittable. So you look at those 2 pitchers. So we already analyzed Zach Wheeler and we analyzed Taijuan Walker. Both those guys, very, very hittable. Now, let me go to the other Phillies starter. And Aaron Nola, we have been pretty decent against as well. All right, so the probable pitchers, like I said, so tonight, we're already into Thursday. It's Taijuan Walker versus Severino. Then on Friday night, we have Christopher Sanchez, who did well against us last week, versus David Peterson. Then the next game on Saturday, we have Rangers Suarez against Sean Manaea. And then on Sunday, that is when we face Mr. Zach Wheeler. So the pitchers again, we're going to face Walker, Christopher Sanchez, Ranger Suarez, and Zach Wheeler. Two of those guys that went over. We did very well against Walker and Wheeler. Christopher Sanchez, we're going to have to be a lot more patient than we were last week. So Christopher Sanchez, I mean, he's a guy, he's 27 years old. He's a lefty. He's 6'1". He's a guy that has really been developed in the last couple of years. You know, this year he's 10-9 with a 3.24 ERA. And this is why the Phillies have actually been pretty decent. They're pitching. It's all about pitching. You know, they've always had Aaron Nola. They've always had Zach Wheeler. But now a guy like Christopher Sanchez coming onto the scene, doing well. Ranger Suarez doing well. Their pitching rotation has looked a lot better. Now, Christopher Sanchez, you know, I'm not gonna, he's been pretty nasty. He has been pretty nasty. If you look at his baseball savant numbers, he's got very, very good numbers. The only thing is he does give up hits. He gives up hits. So you can get to him. But, you know, if he gets to 2 strikes, if you get in bad hitters counts, he is very nasty. His chase rate is in the 99th percentile. He doesn't walk. His walk percentage is in the 90th percentile. His barrel percentage, 85th percentile. His ground ball rate, 96th percentile. So he's a very nice pitcher. He's got a 95-mile-per-hour sinker, an 85-mile-per-hour changeup, and an 84-mile-per-hour slider. He's predominantly a 3-pitch pitcher. He throws the sinker 47% of the time, the changeup 36% of the time, and the slider 17% of the time. So, I mean, honestly, that's a very, I would say odd, repertoire. For him to throw a changeup 40% of the time really shows how confident this guy is in his off-speed stuff. So he's a ground ball pitcher. He's a very kind of different pitcher than we faced. But I'm very impressed with him. He's a guy I'm impressed with. So he's a guy we might struggle with, but you know what? That's why he's a lefty. We go with our all righty lineup, and that's when you got to hope guys put those tough at bats and they work him out of the game. Battle. See our Ranger Suarez. Okay, I'm looking at Ranger Suarez. Ranger Suarez has pitched against us since 2018, 48 innings. He's pitched in 15 games. He's 4-3 with a 3.51 ERA. Okay, so the top guys against Ranger Suarez. And again, the top hitter against Ranger Suarez is Starling Marte. Starling Marte stands out. He has 16 at-bats, 6 hits, and he's batting .375. Francisco Lindor, he's batting .313. Vientos is batting .250. Martinez, .222. Alonso, 118. Alonso has not been good against Suarez, and Nimmo has not been good against Suarez. Nimmo's had 22 at-bats. Alonso's had 17. So against Ranger Suarez, Nimmo and Alonso, it seems to be a tough matchup for those two guys. All right, folks. It's about 2:00 in the morning right now. We're gonna get going. We're gonna wrap it up. But I'm gonna probably put out another video in the morning. Check it out. Or in the afternoon. I'm gonna do it before work. Tomorrow I'm working from 2 to 10. Then we'll check out the Met game, and I'll follow up then. Thank you so much. On the way out, if you could if you're not a subscriber, subscribe. I'm pretty sure if you're watching 2 o'clock in the morning, you are. I thank everybody so much for tuning in. It's really good feelings right now. So, I love this. I love this. So thank you again, everybody. I wish everybody a great night. Richard, Chris, everybody who's participated. I can't say thank you enough. Have a great night, everyone, and I will talk to everyone very, very soon. I'm going to try to, if I do a live stream tomorrow night, I'm going to try to do it a lot earlier too. Try to do it in the 11 o'clock hour, not in the 1 o'clock in the morning. All right, everybody, have a great night, and I'll see you soon. Let's go Mets. I'm getting tired now.